This is the word of the week for Sunday, June 14th, being sent. There are two scripture passages for today. The first is from Matthew chapter 9. At the sight of the crowds, Jesus' heart was moved with pity for them because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for the harvest." Then he summoned his 12 disciples and sent them out after instructing them thus: "As you go, make this proclamation: the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, drive out demons." The second passage is from Psalm 100. Know that the Lord is God. God made us. We are God's. God's people, the flock God tends. Reflection. Prior to this passage in Matthew's Gospel, the disciples had listened to Jesus give the Sermon on the Mount and had witnessed him healing various people. Then, after asking them to pray for laborers, he taps 12 of the disciples and sends them out as laborers for the harvest. These disciples were now apostles, sent out to proclaim the kingdom of heaven and to show outward and visible signs of that kingdom's presence. At first, the 12 must have been flabbergasted. Did Jesus really want them to tell people who were living with injustice, oppression, and poverty that the kingdom of heaven was at hand? Did he really expect them to cure people, raise them from the dead, cleanse unclean people, and drive out demons? Jesus could do such things, but could they? It is good to listen to sermons or homilies, or even to the word of the week and other spiritual enrichment. It is good to pray, meditate, and attend church services. Isn't it asking a bit much to expect disciples to proclaim, "The kingdom of heaven is at hand," in a world where, as Pope Leo XIV noted, quote, "war is back in vogue," end quote, where corruption, oppression, and injustice are upheld by people in power? Thomas Keating wrote, quote, "There is no opposition between action and contemplation. Interior experience is geared to action. It is designed to soften up our self-centered disposition, to deliver us from what is compulsive in our motivation, and to open us up completely to God and the genuine service of others." End quote. From The Heart of the World. Service flows out of our consenting to God's presence and is a sign of the transformation God works in us. One participant in a Word of the Week's prayer chapel compared sitting in silence to a smartphone sitting on a charging station. Both are given power to connect with others. Nurtured and fed in silence, we too are being sent to nurture and feed the world as humble servants. As Father Thomas adds, quote, "By making oneself a servant of everyone, then the divine healing or the redemptive work of Christ can flow through us without our getting in the way." End quote. Meditations. There are 3 meditations for today. The first is from Joan Chittister's Essential Writings. We are not meant to be long-distance observers of life. We are to give ourselves to the shaping of it, however difficult that may be in this day and age. We are at a crossover moment in time, somewhere amid the certainty of the past, the demands of the present, and the possibility of the future. It is a moment again in human history that needs deep wisdom and requires holy struggle. Our task now is to be radical Christian communities in the here and now, not fossils of a bygone reality, not leftovers from an earlier golden age. Now we need new wisdom and a new kind of struggle to determine what we must be and do in the midst of these changing times. The second meditation is from John Philip Newell's The Rebirthing of God. Through compassion, we move from egocentrism to excentrism. Compassion can free us from the prison of the ego, whether our individual ego or that of our family, community, or nation. To want to bear the responsibility for the needs of others is a blessing. It frees us from our narrow self-interest. The third meditation is from Lawrence Hamilton, interviewed for the Opening Minds, Opening Hearts podcast. My main disciplines are kindness, compassion, and care, and it's not easy all the time. For me, kindness is just recognizing that there's so many differences in this world and just accepting people being different. Compassion is just part of life, knowing that everybody's going to go through frustration, heartbreak, disappointment. Then that third level is care. Care when you can. Sometimes the person might need money. Sometimes they might need encouragement. Sometimes they might just need your presence. This kindness, compassion, and care, I believe, as a discipline would change the world.
To practice. There are 4 suggested practices for this week. Practice number 1. Watch the 7-minute video with Thomas Keating, A World About Service, via the link in today's email. As you read today's reflection and listen to the video, what do you hear for your journey now? Practice number 2. In his book, The Mystery of Christ, Thomas Keating raised this question, quote, how do we show love in the concrete? How do we build up society when we have our own problems that scarcely leave us enough time or resources to take care of our own family, business, or spiritual life? End quote. One of his responses is that we love what is right in front of us in our everyday life. Where in your everyday life do you understand yourself to be loving in the concrete? Practice number 3. In 1994, Gary A. Hagen, an attorney in the U.S. Department of Justice, was sent as the officer in charge of the investigation into the Rwandan genocide. When he returned to the United States, he wrote a book entitled Good News About Injustice. This quotation is taken from his book. Quote, the battle for justice in the world is not fought where we think it is. The battle against oppression stands or falls on the battlefield of hope. No one knows this better than the oppressors. They rely on, utterly depend on, the inaction of despair. They know full well that their preeminence depends on most people in their community, their nation, and their world doing nothing. The oppressor knows that the primary reason we do nothing is because we have lost any hope of making a difference. It is not that we lack power, compassion, or knowledge. Rather, we lack a sense of hope that allows us to take what we have into the fray. End quote. How do you sustain a sense of hope in your life today? Practice number 4. The 11th of the 12 steps reads, quote, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. End quote. What practices help you discern God's will for you in particular situations? What practices help you feel empowered to carry out what you discern is being asked of you? And some further notes. If you would like to donate to support the Word of the Week weekly reflection, please do so via the link in today's email. Love offerings of any amount are greatly appreciated. Please post your reflections and prayer requests as prescribed in today's email. A reminder of the upcoming e-course offered by Contemplative Outreach in partnership with Spirituality and Practice, called The Transformation of Suffering. The course begins June 22nd. Please see the link in today's email for more information. You are welcomed and encouraged to join one or more of the 3 weekly live Zoom prayer groups to support your practice and spiritual journey. Each prayer group has slightly different reflection excerpts. Therefore, some participants attend more than one. Details are found in today's email. And finally, additional opportunities to support your silent prayer practice and spiritual journey are offered in the Meditation Chapel, a Zoom-enabled worldwide meditation community. You can find out more by clicking on the links in today's email.